Let's go.
Yeah. We'll leave those two questions aside, right? We'll talk about those for next time.
All right.
I'm just going to move on into the other parts of it. Okay. Right, I'm just going to choose another one. You have been working. You said you're unemployed, but you have been working. Is that right?
I was working for a couple of months, but the
So
the
would you talk
employer,
more? So you'd rather you could more easily talk about studying, yeah?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I worked
Uh,
for very less, like quite a short
y-
time.
yeah. Well, you choose how to answer any of these questions, really, but it depends how you feel about them. Okay. So who do you spend most time, or have you spent most time studying with?
Uh, I think with my uh, teacher in university, uh, he was a professor, and I spent quite a time in university, around 7 years. Uh, so I was around him all the time because I thought that he was one of the wisest and also the one who has the most experience uh, around my circle in the university.
Okay. So what kinds of things did you study with other people or
Uh,
study on with other people?
uh, I beg your pardon for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. All right. It's slightly what kinds of things did you study with other people? What
Oh,
kinds?
my my topic was cinematography and editing. So uh, throughout my studies, we were focused on mainly cinema, the history of it, the technical parts, and the theoretical of it, theory of it.
Okay. Are there times when you study better by yourself?
Uh, it's actually a pretty good question because when I started the university, I uh, found out that some lectures are pretty out of outdated, and because we are living in an age of technology and knowledge is so easily accessible, I I I felt that I knew so many stuff beforehand, and some lessons were actually kind of used like waste of time, I guess. So yeah, some topics were much more better by myself.
Is it important to like the people you study with?
I think it's crucial because it's a dynamic thing. I don't believe learning is just one people is teaching and the other one is just listening, but it's an active situation, and it has to be in a kind of a harmony and in a like a dynamism, I would say. So you don't have to particularly love like, but I think you need to enjoy time you're spending. with who you're getting told by.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay, so I'm going to share. This is the part where I share the card with you. Just set up the timing of this. Okay. So I'm going to show you a card for a minute. Then you have in that time to prepare what you want to say about the topics on the card. And then I'll tell you when to start and if necessary, when to stop. And you need to talk between 1 and 2 minutes. Okay, share.
Okay.
Okay. So here is the topic. Can you see that clearly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And doesn't matter about the top because you've seen that already. Okay, so your minute to prepare. You can make notes at this time as well, and your time starts now to prepare. Okay, that's your preparation time up.
Yeah.
And when you're ready, I'd ask you to speak for between 1 and 2 minutes and start when you're ready.
Yeah. I would like to talk about my visit to Cuba. Last year, I went there with my parents, and it was a pretty vibrant city, Havana. That was the first destination we went. Despite was pretty hot and really crowded because of the tourists. I we enjoyed quite a lot, and I actually visited quite a few attractions in Cuba, and one of them was uh, a bar which is famous for Ernest Hemingway's favorite bar and his favorite drink. And I had the chance to experience that uh, cocktail, which was pretty delicious and very refreshing in a really hot weather. And after that, we were visiting the fields of tobacco and how the cigar is made, which was sorry, I'm sorry, my sister interrupted.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about don't I just wait. Don't worry about that at all. So yeah, you were visiting tobacco fields. That's where you
Yeah,
were
tobacco fields.
on.
Yeah, we visited a farm, and there was a tour which a guy, farmer, who explained and actually told us how they do it, and also how they roll the cigars, and how they dry the tobacco, how they make cut the leaves, and how they sell it, and how it is hard to uh, live just out by farming, because the product, 90% of the product there, the government is just taking from them, so they only have 10% for them to sell. and use. So after that, we went to a cave, pretty famous one, and it was a really interesting one because there were shapes around the walls of the caves, and there were the tour guy was telling, "This is the crocodile. This is the bird. This is the snake," and you can actually really see the shapes the nature has created there, and it was really surprising that to see it actually. And besides that, I've tasted so many local foods, and while you're eating in Cuba, there's always music. There's some guys playing uh, Buena Vista Social Club. Yeah, and there's also a really famous hotel, which is in the city center of Havana, and in the hotel that you can see the room numbers, and who stayed there before. That I learned that Frank Sinatra and Jack Nicholson, they were all stayed there and visited the hotel, and you can enjoy the view of the sea and the ocean. Sorry, and also listen to music and drink some beautiful drinks and smoke a cigar while you're sitting in the garden of the hotel.
Okay, fantastic. I'll let you go on. Um, Quite a bit over the time. You would probably get stopped
Yeah,
there.
just a second. I'll shut the door. Okay.
No, yeah, that's okay.
I don't have a room in this place.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just
So you actually
borrowing.
you
It
spoke for 5 minutes.
was 5 minutes?
That was
Really?
5 minutes. Yeah. Just when you were talking about the tobacco fields, that's when the time was up for you.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So while you were talking about Havana, then the bar. Yeah.
Hmm.
And pretty soon, just as soon as you got talking about the tobacco fields, that's actually when the time.
Probably the
Um,
examiner will stop me.
yeah, at that point.
Yeah, at that point.
We'll,
Yeah.
we'll go back for feedback later, but I just let you carry on because um, yeah, we're just bringing out other topics and other ideas and other descriptions. So that's what I want for you to be able to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was very useful. Thank you for
Yeah,
that, actually.
you can easily talk for 2 minutes. Okay. That is not your issue.
Yeah, I can talk.
You can talk.
And if the
Yes.
topic is just a little bit interesting for me, I can talk.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Uh,
I have
you
no
you like
flashback for it.
to talk. Yeah.
I, I enjoy
About
it.
things that interest you. So there it
I
is.
enjoy it.
And you can do it in English. Okay.
Yeah.
Without much difficulty. You put half of English folk to shame. Okay. You know that a native speaker, um, if you take the average person, they might get a 6 or a 7 here in these things.
Really?
Yeah, because the level that you're aiming for is university level English.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I actually uh, feel pretty academic in English right now. Like
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
inside of it. Like I'm
yeah,
seeing the core of it.
yeah.
Just
But most people haven't been to university. Yes, they may actually know more words. They may be just easier with the language overall, but there's a limit in places and times, and the discussion of ideas. When I'm talking about complex sentences and compound sentences, well, part of that is
yeah. My
you're
problem is I know that I need to use a simple compound and complex sentence, but while I'm thinking what I'm going to say, I'm trying to find something to say.
but I,
I
I'm talking about trigger words. Now, that's why I ask you to look at those words. They trigger these things.
Yeah, I need
And
to
all I'm
look
asking you to do
them.
is
Yeah,
refamiliarize yourself with those. And then your brain takes care of the rest of it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Your
That's what I
subconscious
need.
mind takes care of the rest of it.
Yeah,
You can't consciously do this.
yeah.
It doesn't work. And it's pointless. What I'm showing you is showing your conscious self to remind the unconscious self. That's what I'm really doing there. I'm not expecting you to be able to. Otherwise, you'd have to have it tattooed on you or written on your arm, like this, and then
Yeah,
you're not going to do that. But if those words are recently in your mind,
they will pop up.
they will they will come. And that's why I say only use the words you know, because there's no point. Don't learn any new words. There's no point. It's not part of your language.
Yeah.
It's showing what you already know. And I'm trying to elicit that. That last part now. Now remember, this is the part where you don't talk about it personally.
Hmm.
Um, what are the most popular tourist attractions in your country?
In Turkey, actually, was a place geographically hosted so many countries, like lots of varieties. So we have various of cultural monuments here in parts of Turkey. But I think the most touristic place uh, is Istanbul, uh, because it was because of the architectural sites, the mosques, and also the worldwide knowingly famous. That's the most commercialized place, I guess, because it's the, yeah, in Turkey.
What are the types of tourist attractions that younger people like to visit? How, sorry, how do the types of tourist attractions that younger people like to visit compare with those that older people like to visit?
Older people are more stable, but the younger people are dynamic. And I will compare these two in both ways,
Yeah,
because older people have money, much more money than younger people.
yeah,
They and also less energy, I would say. They tend to visit tourist attractions that they don't move much, not so dangerous ones, not so act, active ones, but they are likely to sit, enjoy, or just walk in a slow pace. But the younger people are more dynamic, and they get bored easily, so they need more action and fast changing environments. So like they can swim, they can run, they can walk. Uh, like yeah.
okay. Do you agree that some tourist attractions, for example, national museums and national galleries, should be free to visit?
It's a pretty uh, good idea to make it that way, but also some countries they are making money out of tourism, and as the the top dominant sector, and so they're making money out of it, and they're they're making infrastructures, and also they give that money and allocate that money to their citizens again. So I think it's a pretty utopian and beautiful idea. And if some countries can manage it, they should do it. But I think it shouldn't be an obligation to force all of them. Yeah.
This is moving on now. Why is tourism important to a country?
It has, and tourism has financial gains. Like some countries, like Thailand, Cuba, and they they just function out of tourism. Like Bali, they they need this. They need money from outside to get inside, and they do it by using their beautiful sites and their their cultural heritage, and also what they can offer, what some first world countries can offer.
Very good. What are the benefits to individuals of visiting another country as tourists?
There is a saying that can someone learn from books or from traveling? And I always answer this: traveling. Traveling just teaches you and open your eyes so much. And when you visit another country, another culture, and taste their food, interact with people there, you just see the world is not so narrow as you think, and it gain it gives you an experience of uh, what is how to what is the core and the essence of humans, and also how we can see the world uh, in a wider perspective.
And finally, how necessary is it for tourists to learn the language of the country they're visiting?
It is pretty useful, uh, and it is, I think, in some countries pretty welcomed to see the tourists are talking their language. And some countries like France or Japan, they don't like to speak in English
Mm.
or any other language, and they want to speak in their language. But in the age of technology, it is pretty easy to translate what someone is saying to you, and you can express yourself easily just with your phone, and you don't have to learn it. But I think it's pretty pretty kind to learn some stuff like saying thank you and how to say welcome, how to say sorry, so you can interact with them in a more kind way, and also a more like warm-hearted way, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Right.